South Florida. This is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hi there and welcome to Headliners. I'm Lauren Pastrana. A multi-county crime ring is busted with the help of law enforcement in Monroe and Miami-Dade counties. The ring is accused of stealing marine GPS trackers from boats across South Florida. CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister has more.
According to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, the suspects would sneak into marinas just like this one, hop on the boats, and then they would set their eyes on the prize. And in this case, their prize were these Garmin GPSs. And according to Sheriff Ramsey, they go for about $5,000 a pop. He says that the suspects would steal them off of the boats and then sell them for a profit. According to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, they were alerted about these thefts in the area back in March, and the official investigation kicked off in May. Numerous marinas across Florida were targeted as far north as Uvalde County and as far south as right here in Monroe County. Deputies determined that 19-year-old Juan Felipe Villegas and 22-year-old Lazaro Gonzalez Munoz were the leaders of the ring. Ultimately, the ringleaders were apprehended in Collier County with the help of their sheriff's office.
They surveilled this car to a marina, where they then watched these individuals break into the marina, enter the marina, burglarize and ransack several vessels, coming out with handfuls of GPSs.
Police say the men and their accomplices stole more than $1 million worth of equipment from these boats, and through their investigation, police obtained text messages from Juan, one of those ringleaders, instructing his associates to stay away from the areas he highlighted in red on a map of Florida, while saying that those were police hotspots, and then he highlighted areas in blue where he said they were safer to target. And in total, 17 counties across Central and South Florida and 194 locations were targeted by this crime ring. In Monroe County alone, the suspects are facing at least 122 criminal charges, and 10 of the 11 suspects have been arrested. Police are still searching for that one suspect, identified as 53-year-old Milton Gonzalez Gill. They're asking anyone who has any information about his whereabouts to come forward. For now, reporting in Tavernier, Anna McAllister, CBS News, Miami.
The Catholic Church is being attacked in Nicaragua, a Jesuit university, the latest to be seized by the government there. And some are thinking it could spark a possible exodus to South Florida. The school closure is part of the ongoing tensions between the government and the Catholic Church in Nicaragua, and it'll leave thousands of young people with no way to pursue higher education and a possible brighter future. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor spoke to the Archbishop of Miami and a student who's been impacted.
The University of Central America in Managua, Nicaragua, a Jesuit-run institution, has been confiscated by the left-wing government of Daniel Ortega, alleging it was a center of terrorism.
This is another sad episode, and it's hard to see where the end game is going to be.
Miami's Archbishop Thomas Wensky has been familiar with Daniel Ortega's attacks to the Catholic Church in Nicaragua in the last 5 years.
They've previously closed some diocesan universities. They've closed about 7 Catholic radio stations throughout the country.
At least 26 universities have been closed by the Ortega regime. Now they set their eyes on the University of Central America, established in 1960. This is a government policy that systematically violates human rights and appears to be aimed at consolidating a totalitarian state, responded the university via statement.
This is one of the universities that was not controlled by the Ortega's dictatorship.
Marilyn Caracas pursued a degree in communications at UCA. She says this is a retaliation from the Nicaraguan government against the university.
This is a sad, very sad news, not only for me, but for all my peers.
Caracas and many of her peers participated in the April 2018 protests against Ortega, mass anti-government peaceful protests because the regime decided to cut down Social Security for elderly people. Weeks later, security forces violently put down the protests. Many of the protesters attended the private university.
It means that we have the space to have this critical thinking.
Nicaragua is no longer afraid of the United States.
Darío Moreno is a political science professor at FIU. He says things will get worse.
I think the United States has acted very weakly toward these violations of human rights.
More than 8,000 undergrad students attended UCA. Almost 1,000 were pursuing graduate degrees.
I think this is going to add to a issue of migration from Central America.
If you can't find a future in the country in which you were born, you're going to look for that future elsewhere.
Starting in 2018, Nicaraguans were among the highest number of migrants that crossed the southern U.S. border. Hundreds of thousands already made it. Experts say it's very likely that the exodus will continue. In Miami Shores, Ivan Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
In Fort Lauderdale, contamination concerns continue for homeowners in one neighborhood who live near a former landfill. They say they have proof inadequate cleanup has created health issues for their neighbors. And as CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten reports, they're taking their concerns to the city.
This site has not been cleaned up properly, and we need to have this clean.
Sharon Alexander and April Young live near the old Wingate landfill off Northwest 31st Avenue north of Sunrise Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. The site's been closed since 1978, but they fear it hasn't been fully decontaminated.
I want the city to come out, bring the proper people out here to test the soil, to clean up the soil, the homes, the families that surround this area, to make sure they got proper testing, make sure that they get adequate care for all of their health crisis as a result of this being here for 72 years in this community.
They tell us they want to put a face to the health issues they believe were created by the landfill.
On my street this year alone, we've already lost 4 residents, all due to cancer or cancer-related illnesses unknown to them until it's pretty much too late.
And you think that's because of this?
No doubt.
Cleanup was completed in 2002 based on EPA oversight of the site.
So it's been cleaned up already?
It's been cleaned up, correct.
Todd Heitschuh is the environmental compliance manager for the city of Fort Lauderdale.
EPA had oversight, so during monitoring for decades, we've been able to just get to the point where we don't have to monitor anymore for the groundwater. EPA has signed off on that.
Heitschuh explains a cap was placed over the landfill under 2 feet of dirt, keeping rainwater off the ash in the landfill, meaning there will not be contaminated runoff. Now the land is set to be home to a new movie studio.
They're going to redevelop the site into a movie studio complex, which would be reuse of the property, which is ultimate goal for Superfund sites is to get them to be reusable back in the community.
Meanwhile, Sharon and April will continue to push for more cleanup, monitoring, and health care.
Our infrastructure system needs to be updated for quality of water for our people, as well as the quality of air and the quality of our soils.
Heitschuh tells us that the EPA will check out the site every 5 years. The next inspection is due in 2026. In Fort Lauderdale, Ted Scouten, CBS News Miami.
When we come back, school is here, but so is the heat. We'll have what you need to know to keep students safe and cool. Stick around.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. All South Florida students are back in the classroom, and while summer vacation is over, summertime temperatures are still sticking around. CBS News Miami's Jacqueline Quinn took a look at what's being done to keep students, teachers, and classrooms cool.
Imagine how hot it can get in a classroom with about 20 students or so with no AC. That's why staff with the Miami-Dade County Public Schools district has been working a little earlier than usual to make sure this is not the case for more than 330,000 students within the district. When it comes to feeling the heat this year, everyone's noticed it feels a lot hotter than what we're used to.
I was just sitting down and I was already overheating.
Luna Carrera is a cheerleader at Miami Senior High School, and when she's not outside, she's seeking refuge inside to cool down. And making sure it's cold enough inside is Carl Nicolo's job.
So we don't operate the same. Things have changed for you guys.
Well, we've made slight adjustments. Our energy management systems have been turned on a little earlier this year to make sure we can troubleshoot all the areas that we have problems on.
How much earlier than usual?
Well, I think 3 weeks ago we turned it on.
So far this summer, the National Weather Service for South Florida estimates Miami-Dade County has had 41 days that triggered a heat advisory or heat warning alone.
An advisory is when the heat index is greater or equal to 105 degrees for 2 hours or more. The warning is set at 110 degrees for 2 hours or more.
We don't have a failure for an entire campus. So what you'll find is perhaps a couple of classrooms have no AC, or perhaps the media center. So they're isolated areas within the school, isolated pockets.
Niccolo tells us there are some areas waiting on repairs, but the goal was to catch any issues early.
Systems are going to fail, and our job is to respond accordingly and get them up as soon as we can.
And failures are not unheard of.
But the times that there's no AC, you have to deal with it because you can't really go outside.
So what happens if your child comes home and says it's too hot in their classroom? I talked to the district. They say, well, let someone on campus know, and if that doesn't get fixed, then you can escalate this or file a complaint with the district. In Miami, I'm Jacqueline Quinn, CBS News, Miami.
Keeping on the school front, the first day of class 134 years ago in Coconut Grove probably started with a walk to school. Certainly no air conditioning in the schoolhouse, which was a wooden single-room shed. It was basic, but it was the pride of the community. And as CBS News Miami's Hank Tester reports, the Little Schoolhouse, the original, is still standing today.
Up in the morning and off to school, the teacher's teaching the golden rule. What was it like the first week of school back in the late 1880s in Miami? We know a lot about it because this is the original one-room schoolhouse, still standing, so well preserved, restored on the grounds of the Plymouth Congregational Church, Coconut Grove. And this was basic reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Oh, absolutely. Well, look.
Yeah.
Reading, writing, and the 3 R's.
Built in 1887 by Coconut Grove pioneer Charles Peacock.
The building itself, much of this wood came from shipwreck. Found shipwreck wood.
The building originally served as a community gathering place, with Sunday school as its main purpose. Regular school classes began in 1889.
We have a plaque on the wall that says that, and that plaque is from many years ago. I think it's from '55. It literally says that. Oldest schoolhouse in Dade County.
Pastor Al, as he likes to be called, says not a lot of Miami folks know that the Little Schoolhouse is still around.
It's a little bit of a less well-known treasure than back in, for example, '71 when we brought it here.
Originally located on Coconut Grove's Grand Avenue, the one-room school was restored by the owners of Miami-based Ryder Systems, who were members of the Plymouth Congregational Church.
This is the program from the day it was dedicated here at Plymouth.
There is rich history here, artifacts from the long-ago school days, pictures of Flora McFarland, the first teacher.
This is an example of a book she would have used, and a lot of it was, in those days, religious teaching as well.
A class picture in front of the school made possible by the dedication of early Coconut Grove pioneers like the Peacocks, the Froes, the Monroes, McFarlands. Names that still adorn many streets and parks in the Grove.
These are names that are deep in the DNA of Miami, but also deep in the DNA of Plymouth as well.
Back to school, old school, wonderfully preserved for you to see here on the campus of the Plymouth Congregational Church. In Coconut Grove, I'm Hank Tester, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, a bond born out of tragedy. See how Parkland is helping the community of Uvalde, Texas heal a year after the mass school shooting there.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. When disaster strikes, dozens of law enforcement agencies across South Florida come together to help with relief efforts. And the same is happening for the people in Lahaina in Maui. CBS News Miami's Terry Hornstein was at one supply drive and shows us the strength of our community to help those in need.
We're here to collect as much as we can so we can help as many people as possible over there in Maui.
A huge effort from South Florida's Mobile Mike, local law enforcement agencies, the Red Cross and Global Empowerment Mission to collect donations for those who lost everything in the Maui wildfires.
When things like this happen and you have resources to pull something like this together, you need to.
The group collecting money, food donations, hygiene products, and power tools at Aventura Mall to send over to Hawaii.
Thank you, sir. We have a donation
An important cause, these South Floridians say, because we have had our own share of heartbreak right here at home.
You see the images on TV like, Hurricane Ian years ago, Hurricane Michael, the building collapse in Surfside brings tears to your eyes.
A sentiment shared by organizers and those who came out to donate.
People always give us stuff when we have hurricanes here. I thought I'd give it back.
An important mission to help an island so much in need.
You see these people not only don't have food and water, they don't have housing. This is unimaginable in our country. Whatever you can bring us, we're going to get it there.
Carrie Hornstein, CBS News, Miami.
The cities of Parkland and Uvalde, Texas are forging a special partnership out of tragedy. The communities both know the pain left behind by school shootings. The Children's Service Center of Broward County sent a group of trauma and grief specialists to Uvalde this month to help them prepare for the start of the new school year and plan for the years ahead. Morgan Reiner is in Coral Springs with the story you'll see only on CBS News Miami.
Uvalde and Parkland are connected in a way they wish they weren't, but now the two communities, separated by 1,500 miles, are working together to figure out the best way to handle the aftermath.
Chest up. It looks like your average workout class, but its purpose runs much deeper.
The wellness classes really are therapy in disguise.
This wellness class is offered at Eagles Haven, a group created to help Parkland and Broward County residents cope with the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, where a gunman took 17 lives on Valentine's Day in 2018.
Express the need for something different than a traditional therapy center, but somewhere that the community could come and heal and build relationships.
Eagles Haven worked with the state attorney's office to secure 3 rooms on the same floor of the trial for Nicholas Cruz.
We were able to outfit and decorate to really look like mini Eagles Havens, help them to find a place to relax in between, after, or even during the trial.
May 24th, 2022, another school shooter took the lives of 21 at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas.
I think for Uvalde, they needed to hear that there is some hope, that we are 5 years out.
5 years out? No one will tell you the community is healed.
We're seeing a lot of the students that were in the building that have gone away to college, that are not managing.
But the Children's Bereavement Center of South Texas said baby steps go a long way.
Uvalde actually was amazing, the way the community mobilized, the way so many nonprofit agencies and medical people came together. But in the aftermath, when a lot of those people go away, where do we start from here? And I think with Parkland, to know that they were speaking to us 5 years later.
Eagles Haven helped them open their local center in Uvalde.
When someone comes, not just says, call me if you need help, but someone calls you and says, we're coming because we think it might help. That was really a gift.
The timing here is key too. Eagles Haven said that they were invited out to Uvalde to help with the opening of the local center. They said they also helped plan from afar the 1-year anniversary, but they determined that the best time to physically go there to help the community is for the start of the new school year. In Coral Springs, Morgan Reiner, CBS News, Miami.
Thanks for joining us this half hour on Headliners. As always, keep it right here to CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great one.